question for Fionn. Super interesting. Thank you so much for the presentation. Wicked. I was wondering, 2.5 years you said. How long until you did it full time? Or did you do it full time right from the start?
Well, actually, when we started with the project, one of the key things that we discussed was about our involvement, obviously, and how we love to present ourselves is to be more kind of rational investors rather than day-to-day micromanagers or day-to-day entrepreneurs. We have different backgrounds among different team members. I have a financial background. Gianluca is more from the fashion lifestyle industry. My brother is more in the financial industry. And Guido, the fourth one, is more kind of entrepreneurial. And what we think is that we can create in the long term much more value being there and choosing the right guy to run it for us, and being there and do the smart decision when it needs to be done, but with kind of a step back approach, not being involved in day-to-day operations.
Perhaps I have a question also for you. Would you define yourself as a company which is launching its product by organizing events?
Well, first of all, we're not an agency or company, so we are a wine company. I think that the real thing is how can we make the difference with what was already present there and between us and the others. Now, we had two marketing speeches about two or one best Italian producer in red wines. Red wine is totally different market. The market for Prosecco has been pretty successful, double digits since '95 or globally. All the markets where we're going is the fast growing product, but customers were looking for something totally different, and event is only a little part of it. But the events we needed why? Just to do a little bit of noise, to have the attention of our customers, and also to say, guys, we're here, we're different from the others. But we are not a PR agency, we're not only about events. The key thing here is the combination of the full package. Events are as important as logistics, events are as important as delivering to the right client, events are as important as putting the product in the right places about position.
So at the beginning talking with the cruises, I have a question for all the wine producers. What effect did the cruises on your product? Did you feel an effect, a huge effect, or
what? Sorry?
What was the effect of the crisis of your product? Fine.
The financial crisis.
Okay. Should we start?
I didn't give
No, è stato l'effetto della crisi sul nostro prodotto. I think for us, we say thank you to the crisis. Has opened us a huge opportunity, because all the other guys that were just dumping prices, doing just cheap products and just trying to do kind of an invasion of Prosecco all around the world, they're now having some troubles. A. B. I think that this crisis is putting new rules in the game, and I think that also the crisis is saying small is nice, but you need to go global. Now, I'm not criticizing small, because I think that in small things and with a lot of specialization, there are the nice things, but I think that you need to think globally. And the crisis, I think all the process of globalization, financial resources, and also the network that we are creating globally, something that has also speed up all this.
I think the crises are good for brands, because first of all, they wake you up. I mean, if everything is going well, you don't do a special effort. Secondly, you can recognize the strength of the brand in a crisis. I've gone through in my working life, which is certainly longer than any of you, I've gone through many crises, and I can tell you that with strong brands, you actually get out much stronger out of crisis. And that's where you need to work harder. So crisis, to look at a glass half full, are very, very good for good brands.
I wanted to say that small doesn't mean not thinking globally. I mean, if you have a small reality that produces real high quality wines, you can get all over the world. Clearly, as Giovanni said before, you don't have to go through the big distribution, but as we heard also before, the luxury market, for example, is growing. Also, if the crisis happened, so we think that if we specialize, and that is why I said underlined it, and underlined also the characterization of the products. If you can do wines that have a great personality, and I think that you can survive the crisis. In our case, we start now to go on the market, so just this year. And I think the crisis, we get in the market with the crisis. It's an opportunity. I mean, it can only get better, I hope, for us. So I'm not afraid of this crisis because I know the kind of product that we do.
I would like to have your point of view about we had the point of view of the distributors and the sellers, and what's the point of view of the investor for such business during the crisis?
I'm quite interested in your question because we are both. We are a distributor of service and not products, but on the other hand, we have also a good brand, and we are preserving, we try to preserve our image. Now the crisis, this one and the former one, were the best time for us. I would say that we did increase tremendously our market image and number of clients during this difficult period. Why? Because when there is a crisis, usually, and it's human, we go back to the fundamentals, we go back to security, we go back to what we know, we go back to the real taste, we go back to the real values, the terminology values. It's something that has never been cited today, but value is something which is universal. And in the time of crisis, we are strongly attached to values. And all of us know that we created brands because we know, and you mentioned it, you feel like touching soil or grapes. Values is something that we have all in our soul, and during crisis is something we feel comfortable with. And that's the reason why it could be either for products or services. The companies who set up business based on value not only survive, but also increase their business.
I have a question for Mr. Giovanni Guedes. I would like to know how do you establish aims or market strategies for your particular brands, and you avoid competition or collisions in the same time?
You're talking competition within our own brands?
Yes.
Well, first of all, we have a separate distribution network. There are only 2 countries in the world where we have all the brands together, one being Italy and the other one being the United States. And within those countries, we have everything is invoiced and delivered separately, and the people responsible for the brand are different people, even in those countries. The brands are promoted on their own. In the case of Onenai and Maceta, it's actually a completely different organization for marketing and sales, production, everything. In the case of the other brands, we have a different marketing and sales team. So Luce and Atems have a marketing director and a international sales director who are different from all the others. They report to the same marketing sales director who then reports to me. But I mean, they are responsible for the strategy and the results of the brand. So it's, and even the winemakers are different.